Now, I think it's safe to say that by far one of the most mysterious heroes within the Star Wars sequel trilogy has got to be the character of Rey, and what J.J. Abrams is going to do with the character in Episode 9 is something that is truly mystifying me. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, that's the great thing about Episode 9, is that a lot of the burning questions in Episode 7 that were not answered in Episode 8 will be answered in Episode 9, giving us a lot of closure to some of the characters like Rey, Kylo Ren, you name it. And that's the thing that I'm truly looking forward to seeing in this film by JJ. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the moment between both Luke Skywalker and Rey, and a specific secret of that character. Now, specifically, a description of both Luke and Rey sitting in front of each other, where it's described that there is a large Jedi temple in the background. It's said to be a moment in which Luke reveals himself as a Force ghost to Rey, where Rey asks for help from Luke. The next goes over the apparition of Luke walking closer to Rey, where it's described that Rey explains that since her childhood, she has felt a darkness within her that has been growing and that now it's becoming harder to control. It's said that Rey admits to Luke that there has been a lot of voices reaching out to her and that she hears voices, sinister voices, reaching out to her from the very beginning. So what's really intriguing about all of this, guys, I want to go over this because if you listen very carefully in The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi, you do hear these voices, without a doubt. I don't know if you guys have actually heard this in the Takodana scene where she's running away from Kylo. You do hear very odd and strange voices reaching out to Rey, as well as in the cave scene in, of course, The Last Jedi. So, when we think about this, alright, there is a lot of secrecy involving Rey's identity, and we also know that a lot of the books and novels are going to come into play here for the plot of this film. So, I believe that there's definitely some kind of answer over on the planet of Jakku that has to do with Rey's identity. Now, what's really interesting to me, though, is how Rey admits and reveals to Luke Skywalker this big secret of hers, that ever since the beginning of her childhood on Jakku, she's felt a darkness growing within her, and that lately she's been hearing these voices, and even has heard these voices from the very beginning, sinister ones, reaching out to her. So these voices, guys, like I say, we're not quite sure exactly who or what they are. It could be, something related to the Sith, we have no clue. Other than that we have heard these voices in The Force Awakens, and in The Last Jedi. So, what's intriguing to me is that we also know that John Williams has said before in the past in a podcast that he really does feel like Rey's identity is going to be quite the big reveal in Episode 9. And Richard E. Grant on Radio Times, like I said a couple of times, he himself even said that there's going to be a lot of earth-shaking twists in this movie. So why would she have this darkness growing within her and that she needs help from Luke Skywalker in order to control it because it's getting hard to control? Now, if you guys have actually read the Force Awakens novelization, she hears a voice reaching out to her, telling her to kill Kylo Ren. This most likely was Supreme Leader Snoke or some other dark side user for all we know. Now, when we think about this, alright, we do know that Palpatine had a research site, a testing site on Jakku, the same exact planet that Rey grew up on. And it really does bring up a lot of questions as to what was going on the planet of Jakku. We don't know the full story there. And we also know that, we are getting a desert planet in this movie that most likely is going to be Jakku and Tatooine in Episode 9. So the other one of which that I do want to go over is how this is an actual moment between the Force Ghost of Luke and, of course, Rey in front of a large Jedi temple, where Rey is reaching out to Luke Skywalker for help about this darkness that seems to be taking over her, where she admits that it's being very hard to control. So, what kind of roots does Rey have? Is she somehow connected to the Palpatines? Is she maybe perhaps a clone of something that was created by Palpatine? We have no idea, other than the fact that there is something going on with the character of Rey. If you actually look back at the elevator scene in The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren himself even says, because of what I saw, I already know that you will be the first one to turn. So, I think that there's something lying within that whole entire piece of dialogue between Kylo Ren and Rey in The Last Jedi that J.J. Abrams is going to expand off of in Episode 9. Now, do I believe that she's going to fully turn to the dark side of the Force? I highly doubt it. I don't think that Disney and Lucasfilm would do that to a character, especially a heroic character, an icon to a lot of young kids out there who watch these movies. So I really can't see them pulling that off. However, I can see something, happening to Rey in a temporary sense, where maybe she does turn and she needs help by Luke or Kylo Ren, whatever have you, in order to turn back. We have no clue. But what I will say is that I am very excited about what this all means, why she's having this darkness rising within her, and exactly what these sinister voices really are that are reaching out to Rey in this movie. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.